Hello, hello. Uh, I think we're okay. All right. So everybody, appreciate you guys being here. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Back. All right, let's get into this cheese. Okay. Welcome back in, everybody. Hope you're having a good day today. We're gonna be jumping back into our project, Polyworld. Gonna be taking a stab at doing some coding tonight. Gonna turn down the lights a little bit. Maybe we turn off the light just to make the lamp. That might be the play. Jeez. Turn this thing off. You turn this thing on. Over here. Alright, we'll do that. Alright. Welcome in, everybody. I'm gonna do some coding here. Let me turn up my bit rate here. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's get started here. So my goal for today is I would like to so I did coding yesterday. I took a nap after work because it was my early day traveling to the bay. But so I crashed after work and then coded at night. But today I decided to stream it. In a new Airbnb this week, so different setup again as usual. But welcome back, everybody. Looks like my they might be a little bit blurry. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Much better. Okay. So where I left off was I actually got a lot done yesterday. Right, I have this here, which is a schema for all the user fields. We have our polybase. What I did was I kind of refactored some of this for cleaning up the cursor. So a lot of this was calling get cursor on its own, but I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to, I wrote this query function here, which actually takes the SQL, the values, a fetch one, Boolean is false, returns the results, but executes the query and gets the cursor itself. And then I have this dict cursor option within this get cursor here, which will turn back a get cursor, like universally. This cursor can have dict cursor, and we can add on to this for different types of cursors in this overall get cursor function method. So right, so we could add maybe different types of dict cursor, different cursors if we wanted to, that if we need them down the line. But overall, we don't need to be calling and worrying about getting cursor in the actual methods themselves. We'll handle that in the query, and then just pass the type of cursor we're looking for into the query, right? Or into the yeah, this is for the dict cursor is true always in this query if we need it, right? A query is for getting it back to dict, as for using a dict cursor, right? But then you have things like creates tables, and right, get connection. Get connection will get a cursor for you. Oh no, sorry. We'll just return back that connection. Because in these table ones, we just have a query, and then we execute the query. And our execute function, so this is calling, so we might need to fix this. This is what I'm talking about. We might need to fix this here. So this is dict cursor was false. So it gets the connection on an execute. Get a cursor, which is dict cursor on the execute. But dict cursor is set to false here. So I think here what we do is instead of calling self.execute, we call self.query, because self.query calls cursor.execute. Queries and values. Yeah, fetch one or fetch all. Because this returns back data, whereas this execute here does not return back anything. And it closes the connection optionally. I'm kind of curious. Let me. Do I need a built-in close or built-in execute method anymore if the query is doing it for me? I was right. You essentially made query the new read executor and execute write the write executor. They serve different purposes. The execute writes, insert, update, and create, commits, no return. The read / returns data. Yeah, that might be easier if we change the names, right? So this is for, like, this is does not return data used for insert, update, or create functions. Is equal here. And then this guy here, the query function that we wrote yesterday, this one is just for doing the selects for getting, right? Used for the select SQL. Because then this also doesn't commit, this just returns. No. Then this commits. Right. Okay, that sounds good. Where's my drink at? Where's my water bottle? Oh, why is the water bottle in the freezer? It's not cold yet. Okay. So this is what I want to do today is we need to what do I need to do today? I'm trying to think. Let me think here. So what I want to do is I need to get a new table. I need to kind of refactor our tables a little bit. So our schema is going to have to change. Right, so this is user fields. We're going to call this user static fields, right? Okay, and then we're gonna put this here. And this is gonna be user. What is like the opposite of static? Dynamic. Right? Which will be this. Which will all be all of these guys here. Okay, so then what we can do is we have our polybase, which has all of these methods, right? So then for testing here, I'm just going to quickly add in a function here called db.create table. We're going to create table called user snapshots. Right, and then our fields is going to be equal to user I'm going to go really quickly here. I'm going to go from db.polybase. And then I'm going to say really quick here, I'm going to go from db.schema import the user dynamic fields. Let's throw that here. So then this will create that table into our whatever. And then let me go ahead and okay. So then we create a table, user snapshots. I need to, how do I get to the piece? Yes, how? P-SQL. How do you get to the P-SQL command line? You do this thing, that sounds crazy to remember. Okay, so then we have to open up our Docker instance, right? Dang it. Bruh. Pause. Okay, so that's open now. So I'm gonna go Docker. Close. Okay. Then we'll do this here. We'll do drop table users. And then okay, so then we need to go into our polybase. Should set up users table, which will create a table on the user fields. This will be user static fields. Right, we'll do user static fields. And then let's copy this down actually, so we can make this easier on ourselves because we already did this. So this one set up users, user snapshots table, create table user snapshots, given the user static fields. No, not the user static fields, sorry, the user dynamic fields. And we'll say, we'll call this user snapshot fields to make it easy on us, right? And then I actually don't need this. There you go. So then in our setup here, we can just add in a self.setup user snapshots table. And then it's going, Jimmy. Hey, Goat Zorro. Hey, Kevin. How's it going? Thanks you for being in here tonight, everybody. Appreciate you guys joining me for tonight. Let me know what you're studying and working on. Sorry I missed you guys' chats. Been grinding here, focusing. So yesterday I took some time off stream to really just kind of focus on trying to clean up my code. And so I went through and I kind of cleaned up. We had like some duplicating cursor calls where I was using a get cursor method, but also getting connection dot cursor get cursor from the connection, which I was already doing in the get connection get cursor function anyway. So I kind of refactored that down, and then I made this query function, which handles the data, the selecting, which returns data in no commit, which is different from our execute, right? And then then we have the setup here, right? So our setup function will set up all of our tables, and we have just these table functions that we can feed to it. So all we have to do for testing purposes is just call just the setup function. That'll generate all our tables if they're there or not, using the create table query that we've already established. So, we've really built these reusable tools quite well, I think. I'm really kind of happy with how we've set this up, because I'm able to really just call functions, feed in queries, use my code, and then I have functions that bind everything all together to generate the setup automatically and whatever. So I think it's like all like kind of like a pyramid of like where you have a base layer of functions that then get kind of wrapped into, they're all singularity, and then get wrapped into like an overarching function. Maybe that's kind of like more, maybe that's kind of like dynamic programming esque, I guess. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's pyramid scheme functions. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we have a user snapshots, which takes in the user snapshots field. Now the thing that's going to happen though is we need to go into our polybase, or polyworld, sorry, or sorry, our poly user services, and here so here we have a poly user model that we're returning after we build user. And this is building user for that address. We plan for every address in our task. We gather all those tasks using async, and we save all of them and close the connection afterwards. So then in polybase, the insert poly user here calls an execute, which commits. So the execute function commits, closes that singular cursor. So interesting. So we're going to be doing that, saving every user. So I guess we could write every user on the same cursor technically, and then save it to maybe speed that up. But that's kind of getting that's probably a refactor for a later day. But let's see here. So we have, we need to, what was I trying to do? Yeah, we're trying to figure out build user, save user. Sorry guys, I'm trying to think about, I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. I'm trying to think about what we need to change in order to get these two tables to be filled. So it's probably the insert poly user method that happens in our poly base. It goes here. Yeah, so here we go. So insert poly user. We're going to insert into users to join values. So this poly user model.dump. Okay, this is data. So we have a poly user model which has a lot of stuff onto it, right? And so what we're going to do is data column insert poly user okay, so we're going to I'm going to write a function here called def take user snapshot. Yeah. Just call it user. Yeah, we'll say take user snapshot. And this is going to take in a poly user model. Right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, we don't need to dump it again because we're already, well, so let's go feed it we're just going to do this. User snapshot data, which is in the form of a dictionary. We're going to say that our columns is equal to our list of our data.keys. And then our values is equal to a list on our data.values. Right. And then we'd have a similar call here, I guess. So I guess it would be very similar to this. If I just take this over. So this is going to be the values. Insert into user snapshots values on conflict of the address. Do update set. Insert into user snapshots, join all the columns together. Those will be our values for the columns, and the values to feed into those, to insert into our placeholder here. Length of time is good. Okay, on conflict of the address, do update set. No, so we're going to call timestamp is equal to, we're going to come in here and import datetime. So we'll say timestamp is equal to datetime dot timestamp. And then I think it's time TZ. Right. And then time zone. What's the difference between users and snapshots? So the users is going to be our static information, and that just gets updated for if they change their username or whatever, things like that. But our stuff that we don't really care to track, like data statistic wise, but our user snapshots table will be individual snapshots of the users at the certain periods of time. So we can track the statistics, we don't overwrite them. Had we just tracked all 40 plus data statistics in the users table and did do update set on the users table, it would overwrite all of our statistics on each pass, and we would lose all of our previous data. So what we're doing is we're My connection is bugging out here. Dropping a lot of frames here. Let me turn off my YouTube, I guess. Let's see if that helps. A little bit. Still getting some frame drops. Might have to stream in 1080p. Okay, we're good. Yeah, so that's kind of why I'm doing this. So we insert into snapshots values. Now the thing is we don't. What happens if something gets taken on the same timestamp? I don't think we have an on conflict here. So we're just going to insert the data into. We don't need to update anything. Because we should have unique values when we execute that. So then here, what we need to do is we need to take out in data, in our data dictionary here, we need to extract out the static information or the we need to kind of clean it. So we have to go well, what's in our schema here is address, primary key. So then we need to do, this is going to be, address is going to be varchar 42. This is going to be foreign key. And then we're going to have timestamp, which is going to be our timestamp TZ, which is going to be our primary key. Now the address would be our primary key of user snapshot fields. No, because we don't want to override. We have to have something unique. So maybe it's just for the unique key in user snapshots, would it be the timestamp or a incrementing number? You can use timestamp comma address. Oh, that's what it recommended me here too. Good job, Draculino. You got it right. Good question. Think about what you actually query by. Would you ever look up a snapshot by its ID number? Probably not. Would you ever query snapshots by address and time range? Almost certainly. That points towards address timestamp as a composite primary key. Two columns together form a unique identifier. no two snapshots form the same address at the same timestamp. The only risk is that you run the pipeline twice at the same second. What would happen to the second insert? It would update over it. It would either be lost, or we could do update set and overwrite the almost same second data. Right. Exactly. And overwriting the same second data is actually fine for your use case. If you run the pipeline twice within the same second, the second run just updates the snapshot with fresher data. No harm done. So the composite primary key address, comma, timestamp works well. Okay, so we have timestamp TZ form. So it does. How do you set up a composite? Let me look up that composite. What's it called? Composite primary key in P-SQL. Is it literally just how you wrote it? Oh yeah, you just do that. Interesting. So you have this declared as at times as a thing. And then I guess you have primary key. I guess call my timestamp. So would it look something like this? This is some comments. Okay. Let me actually, I think balance. Okay, so we just need to get out these 4 data points. Address. Okay, so this will do. This is data. So we'll say static. We'll say user static data is equal to a dictionary where we have key value for key value in data.items if there's no where, no, if key in the following tuple, which will have what I'll do is I'll go user address, username, joined URL, address, username, joined, and URL, right? And then we can say in user static. And then what we can do is say, how do you like union but remove? You can't less equal. Can you do this? I don't think you. Can you less equal two ticks together? I needed my Fluent Python book, but it's in I packed it up in my box when I was moving. Oh, I need my Fluent Python book. Because it has stuff like this. Less equal on dict, less equal dict, Python will remove the keys in the rval dict. No, it's not valid. Python dictionary should not support the less than equal to operator for the okay, then I guess we have to do user snapshot info keys. We'll get user static keys, right? User static, user. Let's take this here. User snapshots, and then keys, and then what we'll do is this is going to be, no, we don't actually need this, I don't think. User static keys. Ooh. And then what we're going to do is go like this, go user snapshot keys is equal to this key value for key value in data dot items. Can I? Am I looping over these? So I don't want to do it twice. I think that's stupid. Right, so what I might do is I might take this out, do this, paste that there, get rid of this, do a for loop here, do an if statement. I don't think we don't need to do a loop twice over the same data dot items. So we'll say if key and static items, static keys, then we're going to just do, get out of here. If key in user static keys, then the user static, or we can just go like this, user static data key of, oh, come on, oh, sorry. user static keys, else. That. Will that work? Um, okay, so then this is great eyes, right? Let's see this. Okay, you can't do that like that. Okay. I guess I'll just say else. There we go. So for every key value in data.items, if key in user static keys, user static key user static data key equals to the value, else user snapshot data equals the key. So then we say if not user static data probably. Okay, so actually we're gonna move this up front here for when we get data. We don't need these right here, I guess. Move these down. Take these in. Like so. Okay, cool. And then, oops. So then what we're gonna do is we have we've got columns and data.keys and values. So we need to make these be, this is insert into users calls. So this is going to be actually the user static data here and here. And then we can call what we can do is here self.take user snapshot. We'll say take snapshot as a boolean. We'll set this equal to false. So we'll say if take snapshot, we'll call self.take user snapshot and pass in user snapshot data is equal to user snapshot data, which we can just say there. and then that'll take a snapshot. And so we need to do timestamp goes here. Would actually go here. We're going to feed in a timestamp, which is going to be a date. This feeds back a underscore time. No, that doesn't work. I guess it's like I don't know what it is. Do we want to feed the timestamp in or add it to the, no, we'll just do this. We'll say take user snapshot. We'll put that back where it was. We'll do, we'll just add it to it. User snapshot data, key of timestamp will equal to this timestamp, and then we have this here, and then we'll do that. Cool. Hey, how's it going? When you started coding, I'm 27 now. I started coding when I was 25, so a year and a half ago. Welcome in. Thanks for the comment, Naruto. Kato, yo, what's going on, baby girl? I appreciate that. I like that. What's going on? If AlphaGo has taught me anything, and coding will be completely solved by the time Mike finishes his Polymarket bot. Yeah, coding is, by the time I finish this, it's over. Yeah, we're already using Psycop G2 right now. Yo, what's going on? I thought about using an ORM, but I wanted to kind of write my own thing. I didn't really want to take on, I didn't think I needed, that much stuff. And it's not super robust. I mean, we could definitely refactor and go over stuff later, but yeah, I think that is okay for now. We updated our insert poly user function. So now what we can do is our schema has primary keys, timestamp. Okay, I think that'll work, because that's just timestamp. Yep. Okay, so then if we say, the only thing I'm not sure of is this. This might return something. This returns an underscore time object. Do we need to print it? Like, do we need to do its stir and return it as a string? Or, I'm not sure. We'll find out though. That's for sure. If we hit an error. Okay, so I think we're safe to run this, except for we just need to go back to our polyworld. Calling build user here, so we have to go back to our polyworld services for our build user function. And then here's where we're computing all our statistics. We definitely probably can refactor this out, but I just got all of my thoughts out on the page when that went to coding session. So then if I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so this is building our poly user model. And then we have insert poly user here, which is now going to take a snapshot. which we're going to say is that's save user, because in our testing we call save user. No, we don't. What? Oh, get all users. I thought we did. I'm confused.
There's an enormous security vulnerability.
Oh no, my local host. It's over. Okay. I thought I had already saved users somewhere. I guess not. Oh, that's just returning values. Oh, crap. Okay, I think I deleted that script that was in here on accident. Okay, that's fine. So what I need to do then is we have Polybase we set up. We need to... Oh, we already build here. And then build... Oh, there it is. Sorry, I got lost. So yeah, we build and we save users in the build here. And save users calls this. And then I guess what we'll do here is we want to pass in take snapshot here as well, which is going to be a bool. And then we have that. So now we can just go hither and call take snapshot equals to true here. So we'll save user and take snapshot in this one here. Now, do I want to do it that way, or would I rather have a function here that takes a snapshot along? Well, because we're already getting the calls, basically. Now, I guess what I could do to further improve it is that here we're getting the win-loss object, which is all of these dynamic fields. But then, like, all this query up here, this is just for the basic info. So I guess I could take this out. Instead of a build user, take this chunk out, make this a own call to just get static info, and then get dynamic info, and then build user takes those two together and then returns back the polyworld object, polyuser model. And then in my here, we could break it down even further there as well. I know, Jimmy. I know. You picked up on my joke. Okay, so then let's see what happens. Oh, I forgot how to get out of this. How do you get out of this? No, whatever. We're gonna have to, I guess, make a new one. Where's my virtual environment? There it is. The heck? Okay, so now if we run our test here. Let's see what happens. Oh, keep on interrupt. Okay, hold on. Okay, so yeah, I knew we were gonna get hit by something here with this date time. So it needs an argument. Okay. So hold on, where was that at? It was in Polybase. And the take snapshot. Oh, who was that? Who was that? Who was that? Who go there? Hey, Prathmesh Mali, thanks so much. Appreciate it for the sub on YouTube. Yo, we crossed 4,700 subscribers. That's pretty awesome. Thank you guys so much for hitting that milestone for me here. I'll put my hat so we can read the number there. 4712. Pretty awesome. Thank you guys so much for the support. If you guys are new, let me know more about you. And if you're programming, if you guys are in school, I'll quickly give you a rundown. I'm Michael, 27, graduated back in 2021 with a degree in human bio, minor chemistry. I got a job right after college in 2022, right at the beginning of 2022, as a formulation chemist. I've been doing that for over 4 years now, and I'm about to, at the end of this month, start a new job as a microbiologist and instrumentation specialist, I guess is the role title. So I'm going to be kind of moving out of chemistry into microbiology. So still in my education, more towards my major rather than my minor. But yeah, it's going to be kind of a new switch up, and it'll be fun to give this new role a go. So I'm excited for it. But yeah, we've been teaching ourselves how to code for about a little over a year and a half. And I was able to write some pretty cool scripts for my formulation chemistry department regarding automating our formulations and chemical matrices, mathematics and stuff using optimized linear programming algorithms. We use like linprog and things like that. And no, not linprog, pulp. That's the library I researched and we used to write that script, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, that was a fun one, and it really solved a nice problem for us. And now we're just writing some cool projects as we learn more and more about Python, and starting to learn more about C and stuff. So appreciate you guys being here on the channel. I make cheats. That's cool. You make like game cheats. You're the guy that I rage at why I'm getting killed, and we could play a game of a league maybe. I have it installed if you guys want. Okay. So we need to give an argument to our timestamp, which is here. I didn't know this took an arg. Oh, it takes a datetime object. Okay, so we have to do datetime dot today, I think, is what we need to do there. So then if we run now, I suck at this. I suck at using datetime. So column timestamp is a timestamp with time zone, but expression is time without time zone. Hint, you will need to rewrite or cast the expression. Column timestamp is of type timestamp with the time zone, but expression is of timestamp without time zone. Boy, what the hell? So one of them has a time zone and one of them does not have a time zone. But which one is what? I thought we were supposed to use time zone. Let's see here. Let's take this guy here. Let's get some feedback. The timestamp value you're inserting is just a time string instead of a full date time. In your insert snapshot method, where are you getting a timestamp value from? You need to pass a full datetime object. Oh, okay. So you have to do this instead. So in here, you do datetime. So you do from date time, import datetime and time zone. So then we have datetime.timezone, datetime.now, right? The now method, and put in the appropriate time zone. Like that, I think. So now if we run this, let's try now. Oh crap, that's an argument. Oh. So then rather than calling time zone like this, can we just do the time zone that we did and then dot tc? And it's just a property, right? No value in the column of address of relation user snapshots violates non-null constraint. Failing row contains null for address. Oh, because address got removed. That's right. So let's go back to our services. No, our poly base. And let's go back to here. And we're going to remove this. Actually, so we'll keep address. And then I guess what I'll do is at the end of this, we'll add the address back in. So we'll say user snapshot data address is equal to user static data address. Okay, I think that'll take care of that error. Boom. Yo, let's go. It worked. Yo, let's go. Dubs. Okay. Nice, that worked. So then I'm gonna do right now users only has just this. Yes, that worked, right? So users, right, we're printing all the rows in users, and it only has a little bit of data here, right? It has our time zone, it has our URL, it has our username, and it has our address. And then I bet you, I bet you, um, I bet you now this gets all users, right? Get user. Now, if we want to do this, where we say get, um, let's say get all, get all, get all snapshots. Right, given self, and then this will give back a list of real dict rows or none, similar to above. We'll have a query is equal to a string. We select all from user snapshots, right? We have user snapshots is equal to self.query. This equal is going to be this query. Perfect. And then we're going to say return user snapshots if snapshot none here. So that, and then we can do in our testing here, do user snapshots is equal to db.get all user snapshots, and then we can just do for snapshot okay. And now what we'll do is we'll just call okay, let's give some separation there, and then let's run. You can't do that? Oh, it's not like a list. My fault. I'm an idiot. Okay, cool. So now we have a real dict row here. Huh. So this took 3 snapshots. Why did it take 3 snapshots? Let me see here. I work as a formulation chemist, but I'm starting a new job at the end of March as a microbiologist. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. During college, I worked as the undergraduate teaching fellow for the chemistry department. I ran all of the study sessions, final sessions, cram sessions, private tutoring sessions. I also worked for the chemistry laboratory department as a laboratory instructor for undergraduates as my senior year as well. So I graded all of the lab reports. I literally gave grades. I administered the experiments, and yeah, that was a fun experience too. And then I work right now as a chemist for 4 years, and then a little over 4 years now. Now I'm gonna transition into a new thing here. So where is that sequel? Looking for that post. Here it is. So let's drop table users. Drop table user snapshots. Now let's run this. Okay, so it was it was just that we had run it 3 times prior, right? And so it takes a snapshot every time, right? So if I run this now, it'll have 2 snapshots there. Yeah. So then what we'll do is we'll also print the length of user snapshots, right? And so now we'll be able to see it grow here. 3, 4, 5, yeah. Cool. So that's exactly what we're looking for, I believe. So now, that's perfect. That was our goal for tonight. But if it pans out retirements in the cards. Yeah, so what this project is rather than doing like, I'm interested in like financial things and financial products. I'm really interested in stocks and options and derivative contracts and things like that. I've had quite a bit of success in playing some option contracts the past in 2024 and 2025. I don't really play option contracts anymore as I'm transitioned mainly into stocks as my portfolio has grown because I don't really want to take on that much risk anymore, as I don't really feel the need to because I'm kind of focused on other things, not as paying attention as I was in the past. But I do give out a couple of stock plays that I like that I think is I do have in my Discord completely for free. I don't charge nothing in my Discord, which is where I give all of my notes and study resources and everything, as well as books and things like that I read. But I do drop a couple of stock things that I'm eyeballing and things I'm buying up in there for fun. Because I do have a public account that I put all of my YouTube revenue money in, which has only like been $200 so far. And that is like public. I tell you every time I buy into that one, like as a part of like, oh, thanks for giving me this YouTube money. But it's like nothing so far. But anyways, better than nothing actually. So gotta be grateful for what you got. Anyways, yeah. So for this is a Polymarket. If you guys aren't familiar with Polymarket is a shit. Polymarket is a prediction market betting, kind of like legalized gambling loophole that has been gaining popularity in the United States and some other places. I'm not sure if it's available in other places, maybe like Puerto Rico or places like that, but like United States adjacent. But so yeah, it's basically where you can kind of gamble money on yes or no for future events, whether it be just simple, stupid things or large scale, grand economic events. Um, and, it's gaining quite a lot of popularity. I myself don't really have any interest in betting yes or no for those types of things. That's just kind of speculative gambling, and you'll probably be beat by people that have the inside information. But I am interested in potentially selling shovels to those that want to dig. So that's kind of where I was coming up with maybe we create kind of like a data pipeline where we compute a bunch of statistics on across a single address for a user, and then we can run some routine scripts to track those users over the course of X amount of time. And we can maybe sync it up to the watch list or to the top X amount of traders or the hot list or whatever that's given by Polymarket or whatever they deem as their top traders or whatever. And then just track those over the course of time through like a set. And as traders fall in and out of the set, they'll be tracked, and we can take these snapshots and record the data over time. And that data could be pretty valuable for tracking, trends across things, and who knows, people might want the data. So I don't know. It could be a fun little project here. But anywho, that we are successful here in getting in we today we broke up our database into now two tables, where the users table is just kind of basic user info, such as their address, username, date joined, and their URL. And whereas their snapshot table is a reoccurring snapshot that takes place of all of their data information. So we'll write a script that will run maybe every night around midnight or something, and we can put it on like a Raspberry Pi, Pico or something, and let it run every night to gather the data for us, or stick it on some server to run, or whatever. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. If you guys think this is a cool project or a cool idea. The real purpose of this project was to gain some familiarity, um, familiarity with SQL, uh, Postgres, Docker. I had never used Docker before this. I had never used Postgres before this. I had barely wrote in some SQLite queries. It was mainly using JSON files and static stuff. So this has been a really, really kind of insightful, getting some hands-on, actual real-world work, and I'm feeling a lot better with Docker, kind of understanding what volumes are, what kind of images are. Images are the type of database you're using with the kind of the credentials or whatever. Um, and then the ports, things like that, and volumes, which is like the actual data that's being captured in your database, right? And then you can maybe create different volumes for different testing purposes or whatnot. Or this is just where all the data lives locally on your container. And what actually Docker is just like a instance running, kind of mimicking that server like set up on like a partitioned kind of, that's kind of like how I'm thinking of it. It's like a chunk of my memory, or just kind of like, or storage, just taken out and sectioned off just for this purpose, to kind of mimic like what a server would be or whatever, and you're kind of pinging it, getting data back and saving it and whatever, doing these queries. I don't know. Because what you would do, right, is you would connect to it via some link, right, through host and port, probably through some like URLs, and it would auto sign in through the credentials here which are found in your env files. Now, you exposed me. It's a Polyworld, but it's not local here, so I'll change that up later. Hey, thanks for the sub. Who is that? Kartik. I appreciate you so much. We get a lot of kind of non-United States subscribers. I think like the large majority of my viewer base and subscriber base is Indian and non-United States, international. So props to you guys for representing, hanging out with just this white boy over here. Appreciate you guys. This American, this dirty American over here. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys being here. So let's go ahead and push up our project for today. Ooh. I'm bad at committing frequently. I need to commit better. As you can see, I just like commit when I finally get my idea completed rather than at certain stages. Um, Add user snapshots table and sep poly user model into static v static slash something like that, I guess. Cool. People pay for Bloomberg. This is basically the same thing. I'm glad you think this is up to par with Bloomberg, Jimmy. I don't know if we've quite got quite get that credit. Okay, cool. So let me go ahead really quickly and I'm just gonna do a quick bug check. Let me just feed my thing in here, and then that should take care of that. Right, and then it's polybase. That's what I just added. Poly. Yeah, it should be fine. The code looks really clean, good structure. The timestamp issue that is usually. I fixed it. I just talked about. It thinks I still have that bug. Okay, so let me actually. I'm gonna go. Let's do a p-SQL run here, and let's just run a quick little query here, and then show that it's working here. I'll prove myself. It wants me to prove myself that I actually did it right. I did do it right. I did it myself. Fine. I'll do it myself. All right, cool. So this is exactly what we're looking for. Really, really happy with this. So our next task, I think, is to set up like our automated run or start doing a fast API layer. Let me know what you guys think about that. But I think what we're gonna have to do is start doing a fast API layer. And I think what I'm gonna do is my fast API. I have a lot of spotty fast API knowledge from just doing little bits of work myself. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at Corey Schaefer's videos and watch them front to back, through and through, and really get a solid understanding, and then go to town. So appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for today. Thanks so much for joining me. I got a long day at work tomorrow. Sorry about the little bit of later stream today. This is my last month as a chemist in this position. I'm transitioning to an internal transition to a microbiologist on a different site for the same company though. So I'm just wrapping up this current big project that I'm kind of the specialist on for this product, and it's taken me the whole month, and so it's I'm in these Airbnbs and stuff until I finish it, and yeah. So thanks so much for being here. You guys are awesome. I'll talk.